Bear with me. Everybody smile. Representative Sutton, if we had 10 more like her in the legislature, Maine's income tax rate would be 0. I'm a redneck from Brunswick with a PhD in clinical psychology. And from my perspective, there's a lot of nuts in Washington that could use my help. I don't like labels, but it's a needed way of being able to identify the difference between right and wrong. I'm a Christian conservative. Let me start that again. I'm a Christian American conservative Republican. And I'm going to send Shelley Pingree back to her home state of Minnesota. Pingree sits on what's arguably the most powerful committee in Washington, the Appropriations Committee. And she's become known as the queen of corporate welfare. Only 5% of Maine farmers are organic, and yet they get 40% of all the subsidies. Recently, a private marina, was given $1 million taxpayer dollars to expand their docking system so they could accommodate mega yachts and rebuild their lounge. That is not an economic plan for the state of Maine. That's nothing but corporate welfare. They pick and choose winners and losers based upon how they're going to get votes and campaign contributions. Not only that, with a $21 trillion debt, that kind of behavior is reckless and irresponsible. But that's the radical left's plan, to pick winners and losers. All the while, our children have to leave the state in order to find suitable employment. I promise you, I will be Maine's biggest cheerleader in Washington, and I will bring back jobs to the state of Maine so our kids can stay here and be with us. I promise. Our current rep has boasted that her voting record is to the left of Bernie Sanders. That's a tiny piece of real estate, my friends. She's been a disaster for our country. She's voted for Obamacare, Dodd-Frank, funding Planned Parenthood, and every crazy effort to take away our God-given rights to own firearms. And we have to stop her. She voted against President Trump's tax bill and the Born Alive bill. She is wrong 100% of the time and on 100% of everything. That's the Democrats' platform, though. Higher taxes, socialized medicine, open borders, neutering our law enforcement, shredding our Constitution. And with all of these disastrous policies, the liberal Democrats have the delusion to think that there's going to be a blue wave in November. In my professional opinion, I really think they're delusional. Despite all the evidence to the contrary, the radical left, they believe that the tax cuts were a mistake. Tone deaf and delusional, they're promising a $1 trillion tax increase if they can only win over the House and the Senate. We're Republicans, and we appreciate tax cuts and tax reform because we know that it helps all Americans across the board, and we're going to support Republicans. Here's some good news. Look at what's happened in the last 16 months with Republicans in charge. Taxes down, paychecks up. Bad trade deals renegotiated. Military funding restored. And perhaps the best is that we're optimistic about our country again. Here in Maine, we have seen many positive changes because of the leadership of Republican Governor Paul LePage. He's made many changes to make Maine great again, and we need to make sure that Maine keeps going in the right direction with another Republican governor. Later today, you're going to hear from 4 exceptional Republicans, all of whom will succeed, one of whom will succeed Governor LePage as our next Republican governor. They're all good people, and Maine will be on the right course with any one of them at the helm, far better off than with any of the wrong-leaning liberal Democrats who are now in the race. Maine will be better off because they're Republicans. To be a Republican means that we have principles and we stand for something. Limited government, religious liberty, lower taxes, balanced budgets. We do what's right, not what's expedient. We have a fearless and well-funded military. We believe in the Constitution, and it's the law of the land and not a work in progress, and we're going to abide by it. And we don't give $500 million to baby killers. One more important point. Republicans believe that America is an exceptional sovereign nation with tight, secure borders. That means legal, limited, merit-based immigration with the expectation of assimilation into American values. Immigration without assimilation is an invasion, and we don't want America invaded by life-sucking immigrants. Maine has lots of Democrats and Greens, and even some charlatan independents like Angus King. That means Republicans have to stick together. We have to work hard to win in Maine, and winning starts with 100% Republican support. If our party splits, we can guarantee the wrong people are going to be in office. Thursday was the National Day of Prayer, and the theme of that in Maine and across the nation was unity. Unity, fidelity, solidarity, all synonyms for Republican victories in 2018. Republicans standing together is how Paul LePage won. Republicans standing together is how Bruce Poliquin won. And we can do it again this year. Will you help us send a Republican to the Blaine House in November? Can we work together to send the biggest fraud in American politics, Angus King, into retirement and replace him with a Republican? And will you help me replace that socialist Shelley Pingree? It's a tough race in CD1. She thinks she's in it forever. But this year there's a twist. We have a Democrat turned Republican trying to get on the ballot. He's a liberal Democrat who didn't have the courage to challenge Pingree in a primary, so he took the Angus King road and calls himself an independent. If he gets on the ballot, he'll take some votes away from Pingree, and that'll help us. Unfortunately, he's likely to take some votes from the middle and maybe even some of the left-leaning Republicans. The Angus King-style independents who vote with the Democrats love to hide their donkey costumes when they're campaigning. What we need for everyone in this room is a commitment to stay Republican. Tell everyone you know that the Angus King-style phony independent will try to convince you that he's not a liberal Democrat. Friends, President Trump is counting on Maine to deliver one more Republican vote from Maine. And Maine people need a Republican vote in Congress. We need to fix Social Security, Medicare, the national debt, and the illegal alien immigration invasion. This November, we have the best chance ever to replace Pingree with a solid conservative, if we all work together. In 2016, we were told by the talking heads on the radio and television and the Republican establishment in Augusta that I was too conservative to be successful in CD1. I was told I couldn't say I supported the NRA or that I was pro-life. But being the true outsider, we produced a television ad that proclaimed both issues. We did that for one reason, because I believe that if you're willing to stand up for what's right, if you aren't willing to stand up for what's right, I suggest you sit down, shut up, and get out of the way, because acquiescence, submission, and a willingness to accept political correctness has nearly destroyed our country. In 2016, our campaign was hampered by a shoestring budget and no name recognition. But bolstered by faith and a large group of patriotic volunteers, we came within 8 points of unseating a 4-term incumbent. Yeah, that's a big deal. We received 10,000 more votes than Donald Trump did and 23,000 more votes than Paul LePage did in 2014. Don't tell me I was too conservative to be successful. In 2016, people were angry and scared. People came out and voted who had never voted before in their lives. People came out and became activists and helped campaigns who had never done so in the past. We can do that again this year. Republicans, getting Donald Trump into the White House was not the finish line, it was the starting line. And 2018 is a continuation of it, and we have to get together and get to work. I'm going to wrap this up. If everyone in this room contributed $100 to our campaign, we'd have enough money to beat Pingree. That's not much. Here's what we need. We need you to help us. We need more volunteers. We need your contributions. Our lawn signs are out front. Grab them on your way by. I'm going to be standing back there at the Maine Taxpayers United table for the rest of the day. You got any questions? You want to help? Come see me. Thank you all for being here. And God bless the United States of America, and God bless the state of Maine.